Where does Germany put its fire hydrants? Let's take a look. Willkommen. My name is Sean Huggins, and this is React with Hugs. Let's hop straight into today's reaction. All right, we're back with Ruboss today, the living legend, and he's going to explain to us where Germany puts its fire hydrants. I never even noticed that something was different with the German fire hydrants. I never paid attention at all to that. I don't know why. Probably because I don't fight fires, mainly. So let's figure out what's going on with the German fire hydrants. Los geht's.
Where does Germany put its fire hydrants? And if you're a German firefighter, how do you know where to find them? Not that these are questions that most visitors to Germany will ever need to answer, but, well, it can't hurt to know. This video was inspired by a video by Gone Girl London, in which he talks about British fire hydrants and how different they are from hydrants in the US. If you're interested in the history and reasons behind the differences, you will want to see her video. There's a link in the description. But very briefly, if you're used to American-style hydrants, in Europe, they're done differently.
Let's talk about what happens in the UK, because there are so many hydrants around, but they're not visible because they're underground. The fire service has direct access to the water mains via these underground connections, so they are neatly tucked away underneath a cover that looks like this. In addition, these are often marked by these yellow H signs marking the distance and size of the pipe.
Germany is basically the same, but with some differences in the details. Basically, the cover for a hydrant looks like this, with the word Hydrant very clearly spelled out just to drive home the message. And this is the sign for the hydrant. It looks a bit different from the ones in Britain, but it mostly conveys the same information.
Underground fire hydrants? Oh my gosh, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Let's break it down. The letter H, obviously, stands for hydrant, but another letter can be added to give additional information. For example, OH stands for an above-ground hydrant, which do exist in Germany, they're just not very common. The number next to the letter gives the diameter in millimeters of the pipe feeding the hydrant. That doesn't affect the size of the hydrant itself, that's standardized for obvious reasons, but it gives you an indication of how much water it can actually deliver. The other two numbers give distances in meters. The number at the bottom tells you how far forward of the sign the hydrant is, and the other number tells you how far to the left or to the right. So if we take this example, the hydrant...
Okay, let's see. The hydrant has 100 units big. Centimeters? No, definitely not. Millimeters? 100 millimeters big hose or something. 3 meters in front of the sign, 2.5 meters to the right of the sign. Oh my God, I can hunt fire hydrants now.
Hydrant will be found at 3.1 meters in front of the sign and 2.5 meters to the right. That is to say, right here. The same basic principle also applies to signs for other utilities and may indicate, for example, a stop valve or simply mark the course of an underground pipe or cable. The ones you'll see most often are blue for drinking water and yellow for gas. But
dude, so simple. It makes so much sense. It's so logical.
Occasionally, you may see green for sewers, red for district heating, or white for high-voltage electric cables. But returning to the emergency services, as well as signs directing them to fire hydrants, there are other signs that are relevant to them that you'll find on or near big buildings, places like office blocks, shopping centers, and theaters, for example. And it would be impossible for me to list all of them without boring you to tears. But here are a few of them, just to give you a general idea. This is actually an ordinary street sign indicating a no stopping zone with the additional information that it is to keep the road clear for emergency access. The more specialist signs look like this. This one indicates an entrance intended to be used by the fire brigade and which must always be kept free of obstructions. These two signs are particularly common. The first indicates the main control unit of the fire alarm system, which controls things like the fire alarms, obviously, and fire doors, emergency lighting, and so on. But it also provides useful information for the fire crews. For example, it can tell them in which order the fire detectors were tripped, which helps them understand where the fire started and where it's going.
Okay, that's pretty crazy. I did not know that all of this stuff was so in-depth. I am not a firefighter, surprisingly. I know I look very rugged like one, but I'm not a firefighter. I didn't know that you could even do any of this stuff.
The second sign here indicates the control assembly of the sprinkler system, which
Whoa!
basically...
Dude, what the heck? Yo, that looks so fun to turn all those wheels. Probably why I'm not a firefighter.
provides water for the sprinklers.
Wow.
But since it doesn't turn off automatically, the fire brigade has to do that manually. And in order to do that, they have to know where it is. This sign indicates an intake to supply, if necessary, water to the fire extinguishing systems installed in the building. There are fire hoses and hydrants at strategic points, and if for some reason there's a problem with the normal water supply, the fire brigade can pump extra water directly into the system.
Wow.
This indicates a similar intake, but specifically for the sprinkler system. There are a lot more of these signs, but basically, if you see one like it, it's important information for the fire brigade. And that's enough, I think, for this video. Don't forget to follow the link in the description to Gone Girl London's video for more about hydrants in general. And now that you know how to find a German hydrant, well, I don't know what you can actually do with that information, but have fun with it anyway.
Thanks. Okay, this was very educational. That is, I had no idea there was so much thought behind fire hydrants. I guess I shouldn't have expected anything less from Germany, where everything is systematized and documented rigorously, but I just had no idea. I had no idea what any of those signs were. I would see, fire hydrant signs all over the place, but never knew what they were. Now I can track down a fire hydrant in Germany. Unfortunately, I can't do what people do in America, which is something like this, where people open up the fire hydrants themselves and then you play in the street in the summer. And yeah, that's a thing that happens in America. I would have imagined that's pretty hard, if not impossible, to do in Germany. But yeah, that was very interesting, and I am excited to be able to now hunt fire hydrants if I ever feel like it. But as always, I'm curious what you guys, the experts, have to say. What do you think? Did you know all of this information about German fire hydrants and different sprinkler systems and fighting fire techniques in Germany? Or did you learn something like I did? Let me know your thoughts. Leave your mustard down in the comments section below. And when you're done there, check out madewithhugs.com for merch and more content. But that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.